Hi, welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines, where I got some very sad news. A lot of people may not know about the great man that we met last year, and his name is Larry Malley. And we just had the news from Mike, who is a fellow vlogger, and introduced us to Larry Malley. Larry Malley came through without knowing us. When we put up a request that if anybody had a wheelchair for Desiree that we could buy, then please let us know. Mike came through straight away and said, why don't you get in touch with Larry Malley, because Larry says that he has a wheelchair for you. So that was our introduction to Larry Malley. We went over to Obai, and this man came up and chatted with us, and he told us that he had a wheelchair for us. Now, it wasn't what we thought. Well, we would have been quite welcome to any kind of wheelchair would have been welcome, but he produced one that was still in its cardboard box. It was brand new, and we were able to give that to Desiree. We spent a little time with that day with Larry Malley. He allowed us to go into the humble operating rooms where his team of what he called his beautiful surgeons were operating on children, and they were reinstating the cleft palate on a load of kids. I think that particular day that we saw him, there were about 80 children. And it's funny, I'm very sensitive to the vibes that I get from other people. And from Larry Malley, he's a talker. Larry Malley, you'll learn everything about Larry Malley in an hour, and he won't draw breath, and he will tell you everything. It was an open book. We walked around where some of the cots were, a load of cots. Obviously, this is in the hospital at Dubai, and people had brought their children in, and it wasn't going to cost them anything. Not only that, but he had them on medication, which would be for parasites and all kinds of stuff that would actually prepare them for the operation that they were going to have. We got in and actually did a video. You can see that video, the cleft palate surgery, and we actually went in and filmed an operation taking place. The surgeons even had a look at later. One of the surgeons, and she was beautiful, just like Larry said, came out and had a look at Desiree and gave her opinion on what Desiree's condition possibly could be. Larry then walked us around, and as we passed all of the beds that these children were lying on with their mom, and the moms looked at Larry as if they thought he was a saint, which actually he felt like that to us too. He told me one thing that I remember, which was about helping people. And he said that he was a cop. I think he was a cop dealing with homicides. And I think it was, please don't hold me to this as if it's gospel, but I think it was in New York. And he said that he was the one that they brought in on hard to solve cases, and I believe him. And that was his life for over 30 years. And then he came to the Philippines, but after he had tried so many times and so many places and so many cases to help people, he told me, he said, I found it easier to put a badass criminal into jail than it is to help some people. And I thought that was a particularly incredible revealing quote. It was a revealing thing for him to say. And we walked around and he told us all about what he was doing. Now, I just learned from Mike. Mike is now putting out a video, a very difficult video for him, because he was much closer to Larry Malley than we ever got. We only met Larry, I think, a couple of times. A great man, and we wanted to just post this tribute for those who may not have had the pleasure of knowing Larry or of being helped by him, or of even knowing about his work. He created a movement called Medical Mission Matters, and during that time, and I've just learned, even now I've learned more about the extent of what Larry did. He helped people with heart surgery, he helped people with prosthetics, arms, legs. He did so much, and he dedicated his life, much of the time paying out his own money, to bring help to people who have no hope whatever. A true inspiration of a man. Godspeed, Larry.